Welcome Lynne Champion, New South Wales Chapter President 93-94. What was happening in your year as President?
Very transformational time, actually. 93, I joined in 89, and by 93 we were starting to copy the American model. So that was the first year we had 2 vice presidents. And also in that year the ASM really started moving ahead. So we were encouraging our members to really take part in accreditation.
Good.
And so also at the beginning of that year, because I became president in April 93, at the beginning of that year we moved our venue. And as you know, before that we'd been at the RAC, we'd been at the Southern Cross Hotel, we'd been at Park Royal at Darling Harbour. Then we got the Regent through a bit of negotiating, and suddenly there we were at the Regent Hotel down in Circular Quay, and the classiest place, so we knew that we had to be classy.
Yes.
And so suddenly it was as if everything was coming together, because my aim that year, and Max Hitchens, who'd been the previous president, had set it in place too, was to attract more members, to create a bigger profile in the community, especially amongst the speakers bureaus and people organising conferences, just to let them know who we were, what we were doing, and to give some training and networking opportunities to members.
And it grew, didn't it?
It grew.
Yes.
That year, maybe because of the venue, because it was really classy, and because of the wonderful speakers we had, it grew from maybe 90 people coming to every monthly meeting to regularly 120, sometimes 140, and by the end of that year our membership was 200 people. There was always a bit of competition with Victoria, of course, and we were still ahead. We were still ahead.
And we still are.
Yes, but to have 200 members and to think that most of them came to the meetings, it's because we offered such interesting guest speakers.
So Lynne, what was one of the highlights of your year?
We had the footballer Nick Farr-Jones as a guest speaker, because that was one of my concepts, to have well-known speakers who weren't necessarily super speakers but personalities to attract the audience, if you like. So we had Nick Farr-Jones, we had June Daly-Watkins, we had Robert Kiyosaki.
That's impressive, and I'm sure there were many more too. Now, what's one must for professional speakers to be even more successful?
Practice, practice, practice. In front of a mirror. You hate it, you hate it, you hate it. But you've got to practice. And you've got to get in so deep. You've got to learn more and more and more. And so when I'm getting a talk together, I've worked it all out. And then I stand up in front of the mirror and I practice my first line. And I practice how I use my hands. And I practice how my head sits. And then I think, no, that's too difficult. Those words don't flow easily. Because I want to make an opening statement that's short, pithy, to the point, so that it either poses a question or sums up what I'm going to talk about, to get them in. That's what it's all about.
Yes.
And then I practice other bits along the way. Practice using mechanical aids, whatever you're using. Practice walking across the stage. Practice how to use the microphone. And so there can never be enough practice.
So Lynne, what are your thoughts on producing product?
Alan Pease changed my life. I heard him speak at one of our meetings about how you've got to have product. And then he said quietly, as an aside, I don't speak to make my money, I speak to sell product. And that went like a light bulb in my mind, and I thought, oh, so product is really important. So that, back in the early 90s, really about the time that I was a president, I decided I should have product. Since then I've written 4 books and I've written parts of 3 other books too. I've had tapes as well. But what I realise now is that there's product and there's product.
Tell us more.
And I just feel in my heart that if you produce product just to make sales, to make more money, after a while that doesn't sit well with an audience. They can see that you're a bit transparent with that. So I have changed completely in the way that I write and do product. And now I'm doing much more writing than I ever did in those days. Because, I mean, a tip about writing for a product is that you've got to put into the product the stuff that you know so well, inside out, back to front, so you could just flows out of your mouth. Not something new. It's got to be the stuff that you talk about all the time. But now my life has changed, and although there's all of that I know, it's what I'm discovering, and it's more an inward look rather than an outward look. So it's about the stuff now that makes you who you are and how you can be a better person, and it's more my experiences. So what I've done in the last couple of years is really join writers' groups to become a better writer, because I look back and I think the people that just rattled them off and did them very quickly just to have product, that hasn't got the integrity that you need. Because people want to take you home, but they want to be able to look back at it later on. And so the essence of writing skillfully attracts me much more, which is a big surprise, because I never thought I would be a writer in that way. And it's been a wonderful, wonderful journey. I really like it.
And one top tip
Is to be the very best that you can be, which means very professional. Don't be sloppy about it. Think, that'll do. No. So it's part of the practice thing in many ways. It's going in even deeper. Perhaps I can find out more about that. Perhaps instead of just think, that'll be enough, think, but what if I knew more? So my top tip is to go deeply into this speaking career. Be as professional as you can be, but go in with depth. Do not be shallow.
Excellent. Thank you, Lynne. And it's been wonderful to chat with you today. Lynne Champion, the New South Wales Chapter President, 93-94. Thank you.